Hello everyone, Eddie here again with another video, and today I want to talk about the children. As I've said in a previous video that I have two sons, two young sons, basically. They're very young, with the youngest being I think 8 months now, and it definitely changes a lot of my perspective on a lot of things. Uh, some of my ideas, beliefs kind of become a little bit questionable just because, I have to think about how it impacts my sons. But one of the things that I was thinking that um, I found really interesting was that so my oldest son actually loves yogurt. Now he's only 2 years old, but that is his favorite. Doesn't like any like juice or soda. Just likes water and occasionally Pedialyte. So he's pretty much a healthy kid, except he loves, and I repeat, he loves French fries and pizza. But he also loves yogurt, cheese, and just watching him eat and having so much joy out of the yogurt, it just really touched me in a way that, the simple things actually give people joy. And then I started thinking about Governor Walz, considering all the things that are going on. About a few years ago, how he was saying that how could some people be so mean to try to block legislation that he was doing to give kids free lunches. And that really got me thinking. So I was talking with my wife, and I was just asking her, I don't understand how we can live in the greatest country in the world, and yet there are children going hungry. I'm willing to put aside that people's arguments that they don't want any lazy people gaming the system. But seriously, why should why should anyone in the greatest nation in the world be going hungry? And if you want to have a cutoff on hunger, why should kids in the greatest nation in the world be going hungry? That I just do not understand. I want to talk to all the people who are pro life, who believes in essence, a lot of times beating down or making it impossible for the mother to get an abortion. For as long as I've been breathing on this earth, it's always the same thing. You want to make it illegal to get an abortion, but once the child is here, what legislation or what things have you put into place to see that that child prospers until they become an adult? Because you make sure that it can be a crime. I'm looking at you, Texas. It can be a crime to offer aid if a mother is in distress, unless it's saving her life. The doctors can go to jail. So you do everything you can to make it difficult, but yet, what are you doing so that child that once they're born, they can have a meal every day? Actually, they should be getting 3 square meals a day and probably 2 sets of snacks. Again, if you're pro-life, if you believe that every life is important, what are you doing to ensure that those children prosper? Because what what am I missing? You're saying children are important, children are God's gift, yet you instantaneously knock down any legislation or criticize any legislation that will help parents with their children. I am learning how expensive daycare is. Sweet Jesus, it is expensive. I never knew. It is literally expensive, expensive, expensive. I feel like I need to get 2 more jobs just to keep my head above water. And yet, if if the children are so important, why aren't there subsidies or plans or some type of thing to help to assist with that? Because if that burden was taken off my plate, I could spend more money on perhaps some of the more educational things for my child. Seriously, I I wish I was a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, multi-trillionaire. I would do something for children. And I've always felt that way. I just never could do anything, but I always look at it as that I remember in grammar school, a substitute teacher came up to me with a magazine and she was pointing at computers and said, "Do you know how to operate these?" And I was looking over and I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "You should stick with that because that's going places." Our teachers, our teachers literally can help shape and guide the minds of our future professors, firefighters, nurses, researchers, presidents, congressmen, you name it. So, don't we want to set them up so that we give them the best possible chance? Seriously, somebody please make it make sense. I just don't. For the life of me, I would think the pro-lifers would be leading the charge to make sure every child had a meal. I just I do not understand because it seems to me is that you will do everything and anything to make sure they get here in this world. But once they're here, they're on their own. They are on their own. If their parents can't afford to take care of them, oh well, they should do better. Because obviously, you're not going to pay to help somebody else with their kids, right? And while you're thinking like that, keep in mind that when you become elderly and you need care, those are going to be the same kids who will be grown adults by then that are going to be taking care of you. And I hope they were raised in an environment where they treat you with the respect you deserve. I hope they're not cynical and feel like everything is against them, like they're a burden. Again, my perspective has changed. I will admit it because I am a father now, and things that I was aware but didn't have intimate knowledge of, I do. I want to see both of my sons succeed. I already know that they're going to have a interesting road ahead because I had an interesting road and The time I came up is completely different than the times they're coming up in. I just think as a country, we generally spend our money on what we value as important. So if you take a few minutes and reflect, what do you do for recreation? That can answer where you spend some of your money. For me, you know, you can see back behind me, I like comic books and I play video games. So I spend my money on that. But as of late, it's been paling in comparison as I buy a lot of educational videos and books and toys for my boys. As I have to buy teaching classes like how to swim and fun passes to the science and museum, passes to the zoo to kind of let them experience things. Where you spend your money is kind of what you value as important. And I think we as a country probably need to spend our money a little bit more wisely. I realize we have a lot of things, but cutting education, I just, I don't think that's a good idea. We should also be bumping up how we help the people who can't eat, who are suffering from lack of food. Again, this is my opinion. I truly believe we're the greatest nation in the world. I just don't see why people should be going hungry, especially children. Anyway, that's my opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. And as always, if you guys keep watching these videos, I will keep creating them. Be blessed and thank you.